With mounting discontent surrounding everything from casting to character revisions, Disney finds itself in hot water as it tries to navigate a growing sea of angry fans. Unless significant changes are made, it looks like this remake might be destined for failure, leaving both the studio and Rachel Zegler in a precarious position. Only time will tell if Disney can turn the tide, but for now, the outlook remains grim. The upcoming live-action Snow White film has faced significant backlash from the moment it was announced, and tensions have only escalated since the trailer's release. Fans of the original 1937 animated classic have been vocal about their dissatisfaction with the creative direction Disney has taken, particularly with the casting of Rachel Zegler in the lead role. The project, which has undergone numerous revisions and delays, was initially slated for a 2024 release, but has now been pushed back to 2025 due to reshoots and the ongoing SAG-AFTRA strike. These delays have only deepened concerns about the film's quality, as many view reshoots as a sign of deeper production issues, indicating that the filmmakers may be struggling to settle on a cohesive vision. The release of the trailer has only intensified the negativity surrounding the film. Typically, trailers serve to alleviate some of the anxiety fans have by offering a glimpse into the final product. Yet this time it's performed to have had the opposite effect. Fans who were already skeptical have become even more upset, and their reactions suggest Disney is in deeper trouble than anticipated. The uproar surrounding the casting of Rachel Zegler has persisted, and her off-screen remarks have further alienated fans who cherish the original film. Zegler's comments criticizing aspects of the 1937 Snow White, particularly regarding the relationship with the prince, have been seen as dismissive of the original's legacy. She expressed discomfort with how the film portrayed Snow White as dreaming of true love rather than pursuing leadership and independence, which she sees as the true focus of her character in the new version. For many fans, these remarks felt like a direct attack on the magic of the original film, leading to accusations that both Zegler and Disney have disrespected Walt Disney's iconic vision. Despite this, Disney continued with their creative decisions, even after Zegler admitted in interviews that she found the original film terrifying as a child and had never rewatched it. These candid remarks have been interpreted as further evidence that Zegler may not fully understand or appreciate the original film's cultural and historical significance, prompting many to call for her replacement. Rumors began circulating about a younger actress playing a version of Snow White in the film, possibly as a way for Disney to mitigate the backlash, but the details surrounding this casting choice have not been heavily promoted. One of the most contentious elements of the film's reimagining has been the decision to replace the 7 dwarves with magical creatures. The dwarves are beloved characters in the original story, and fans were understandably disappointed when they learned that Disney had opted for K creations instead. This change was reportedly made in response to actor Peter Dinklage's public criticism of Disney for perpetuating outdated portrayals of dwarfism. While Disney's intention may have been to avoid further controversy, this decision has only angered fans who were hoping to see the dwarves brought to life by real actors. Instead, the key creatures shown in the trailer have been widely criticized for their awkward appearance and lack of charm, further disconnecting the new film from the whimsical, heartwarming feel of the original. Another major point of criticism has been the overall aesthetic of the film. Both fans and critics have voiced their concerns over the movie's over-reliance on She, which many feel strips away the magic and authenticity that made the original Snow White so special. In the 1937 classic, the hand-drawn animation brought a timeless charm to. In response to Dinklage's comments, Disney made the decision to rework the dwarf characters into magical beings rather than depict them as dwarfs. This decision, however, has left many fans feeling disappointed, as they had hoped to see the 7 dwarfs brought to life by real actors, not replaced by CG creatures. The trailer confirmed these changes, and the fan backlash has only intensified, with many feeling that the spirit of the original story is being lost by the heavy use of CG. Critics argue that Disney's increasing reliance on digital effects in their live-action remakes has become a problem. Instead of using practical effects or focusing on set design to create a believable world, Disney has opted for an artificial, computer-generated aesthetic that lacks the heart and texture of the originals. This has led to accusations that the studio is more concerned with quick, marketable content rather than capturing the spirit and artistry of the classics. The Snow White remake has only amplified these concerns, with many believing that Disney's approach is ultimately cheapening the legacy of their animated catalog. The choice to use CG for the 7 dwarfs, in particular, has drawn intense criticism. In the original film, the dwarfs were lively, memorable characters, each with their own distinct personality. They were an integral part of the story, bringing warmth, humor, and charm to the narrative. However, in the new version, the dwarfs have been replaced by digitally rendered magical creatures, which fans feel are disconnected from the heart of the story. These CG creations, lacking the same character depth and charisma, come off as awkward and out of place, further diminishing the film's appeal. The visuals are being compared unfavorably to other CGI-heavy movies, with some even likening it to the animation style of Shrek. pointing out that a nearly 20-year-old animated film has managed to look better than Disney's latest big-budget endeavor. The upcoming live-action Snow White movie has faced intense scrutiny from the very moment it was announced, and the situation has only become more complicated following the release of its trailer. Fans of the original animated classic appear to be overwhelmingly displeased, and leading actress Rachel Zegler is not happy with the backlash either. The core fan base, which holds deep emotional ties to the 1937 version, has not been shy about expressing their discontent with many of Disney's creative choices, especially regarding the casting of Zegler. This decision remains one of the most divisive aspects of the project, as many feel it strays too far from the essence of the beloved original. The production process for this new Snow White adaptation has been anything but smooth, undergoing numerous revisions and delays along the way. Originally slated for a 2024 release, the movie was eventually pushed back to 2025 due to extensive reshoots and the ongoing SAG-AFTRA strike. These delays have fueled growing concerns about the film's overall quality, with many fans interpreting the reshoots as a sign that the filmmakers are struggling to nail down a cohesive vision. The newly released, the muted and overly digital look of the film has left many fans feeling disappointed. The original Snow White was known for its breathtaking animation, vibrant use of color, and a fairy tale atmosphere that enchanted audiences for generations. The live-action version, in contrast, feels cold and artificial, with critics noting that it lacks the warmth and visual creativity that made the original so beloved. Changes has led to a backlash that appears to have caught Disney off guard. While the studio likely anticipated some degree of criticism, especially given the choice to modify the iconic character, the sheer scale of dissatisfaction seems to have taken them by surprise. Many fans view Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs as more than just another animated film. It's a cultural milestone that laid the foundation for Disney as we know it today. Released in 1937, it was the first full-length animated feature produced by Disney, a monumental gamble by Walt Disney that ultimately paid off, cementing the studio's place in Hollywood and making Snow White an integral part of the Disney legacy. Given the film's legendary status, it's unsurprising that any deviations from the original were bound to elicit strong reactions. Disney's decision to seemingly dismiss fan concerns about recapturing the charm and spark of the original has only added fuel to the fire. Rachel Zegler, in particular, has found herself at the center of the controversy. While her casting was met with some resistance due to her appearance, it's her off-screen comments that have ignited a firestorm among die-hard fans. In various interviews, Zegler referred to the original Snow White as dated, expressing her discomfort with the way the character and her storyline were portrayed. One of the biggest issues for her was Snow White's relationship with the prince, which she found problematic. In response, Zegler pushed for a version of Snow White who is not focused on true love but instead dreams of becoming a leader, guided by the vision her late father had for her. While these comments were likely intended to highlight a modern, feminist take on the classic fairy tale, many fans saw them as dismissive of the original movie's legacy. Longtime Disney enthusiasts accused her of disrespecting Walt Disney's vision and taking liberties with a film they hold dear. Things only escalated when Zegler, in another interview, admitted that as a child she found the original Snow White extremely scary and criticized how Disney historically portrayed its princesses. She confessed to having only watched the movie once and never revisiting it, further alienating fans who view the 1937 version as a cherished masterpiece. The controversy surrounding Zegler's remarks sparked calls for her to be replaced, and rumors soon emerged that Disney might be trying to appease fans by casting another actress to portray a younger version of Snow White. This move, if true, suggests that Disney is aware of the backlash but has chosen not to address it directly. Instead, Rachel Zegler remains front and center in the film's promotion, bearing the brunt of the criticism from upset fans. However, casting a younger Snow White hasn't done much to calm the storm, as many fans are still upset with the direction of the remake. Another major point of contention has been Disney's decision to reimagine the Seven Dwarfs. In the original, Snow White's dwarf companions were an essential and beloved part of the story, so when news broke that they would be replaced with magical creatures in the live-action adaptation, fans were understandably upset. The situation became even more complicated when actor Peter Dinklage, famous for his role in Game of Thrones, publicly criticized Disney for continuing to tell what he saw as a backward portrayal of dwarf characters. In an interview, Dinklage said, "I was a little taken aback by, they're very proud to cast a Latino actress as Snow White, but you're still telling the story of seven dwarfs living in a cave. What are you doing, man?" This reliance on visual effects has become a common criticism of Disney's live-action remakes, with films like The Lion King and Aladdin receiving similar feedback for their overuse of she, which some believe detracts from the authenticity and magic of the stories. The backlash surrounding the film's visual style was already building, but the release of the trailer has brought it to a boiling point. Upon its debut, the trailer was met with an overwhelming wave of negativity, quickly racking up over 1 million dislikes on YouTube, a rare and telling feat in today's internet culture. This avalanche of disapproval flooded the comment sections, with fans and critics alike taking aim at nearly every aspect of the production. The visual effects, in particular, were the main target, with viewers expressing disbelief at how one of Disney's most visually stunning animated films could be transformed into what they describe as one of the ugliest live-action adaptations to date. The film, originally cherished for its beauty, now seemed to lack any of the aesthetic qualities that made it stand out in the first place. Even seemingly minor details have come under scrutiny, such as Rachel Zegler's wig, which became an unexpected point of discussion. Fans took to social media to criticize the wig, describing it as cheap-looking and distracting. Some even likened it to a costume you might find in a low-budget Halloween store, which only served to fuel the growing sense of disappointment surrounding the film. This seemingly small detail further contributed to the overall perception that Disney had cut corners in the production, failing to live up to the high expectations that come with a live-action remake of such a beloved classic. This collective criticism has only continued to grow, with fans expressing their frustration not only with the visual choices but also with casting decisions and the film's apparent departure from the original story. The excitement that usually accompanies the release of a Disney trailer was noticeably absent, replaced instead by a sense of disillusionment. Many fans feel that Disney, in its quest to modernize and reimagine its classics, has lost touch with what made those films magical in the first place. The lack of charm, whimsy, and visual splendor has left audiences underwhelmed, and the widespread criticism of the trailer suggests that Snow White may be facing an uphill battle to win over fans before its release. As the negative reactions continue to pile up, the future of the film seems uncertain. What should have been a highly anticipated addition to Disney's live-action catalog is now being met with skepticism, and in some cases, outright disdain. The million dislikes on YouTube, along with the flood of negative comments and fan backlash, have signaled that this might not just be a temporary wave of discontent, but a significant challenge for Disney to overcome. With concerns mounting about both the aesthetic choices and the casting, it remains to be seen whether Disney can turn things around or if Snow White will join the ranks of their recent box office disappointments. Zegler initially responded to the trailer's release with gratitude, thanking her fans on social media for the overwhelming support and celebrating the trailer's 120 million views within 24 hours. However, as the negative reactions continued to pile up, it became apparent that many of those views were from people who were deeply unhappy with what they saw. Despite the millions of views, the trailer's dislike count continued to climb, surpassing the 1 million mark, solidifying the perception that the film is in serious trouble. Rachel Zegler herself has gone silent on social media, leading fans to speculate that the overwhelming backlash has caused her to retreat from public platforms. Some believe that her silence is due to the backlash, while others point out that she has been busy with her role in a Romeo and Juliet production on Broadway alongside Kit Connor. Whatever the reason, it's clear that the negative reception to Snow White has cast a shadow over her role in the film. As Disney continues to navigate this PR nightmare, the question remains, can they salvage this film and turn around the negative perception before its eventual release? Many fans and industry experts remain doubtful, believing it would take nothing short of a miracle for Disney to recover from this backlash. With every new development, it seems increasingly likely that Snow White could become one of Disney's most significant live-action flops to date.